Good afternoon. I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. On Friday, May the 5th, another week done. Well, last night the U.S. House of Representatives indeed passed a health care bill. It only had about a 3-vote margin. It was all Republicans. 20 Republicans went over with the Democrats to oppose the bill. The bill's getting a brutal review this morning from just about everybody for how mean it is to poor people and how much it helps rich people. They basically cut rich people's taxes and pay for it by taking away benefits from poor people. The U.S. Senate gets it next. They're not expected to approve the bill in the form that it's in. And here's some good news for you. Tom Cotton of Arkansas, who's never shown a whole lot of empathy for poor people, is in the group of 13 Republicans who are going to be at the center of deciding what the Senate bill is going to look like. 13 white men, I should say. There are 5 Republican women in the Senate. None of them seemed worthy of being on the inner circle of deciding how this legislation would go, perhaps because it's going to be bad for women. There's going to be no money for maternal and family planning help at Planned Parenthood, higher rates for women because they have babies after all. Men have prostate surgery, but that's a different issue, of course. As I predicted yesterday, French Hill of Arkansas indeed joined the group that voted for this bill. He issued a long statement, not worrying so much about people who lose insurance or people with pre-existing conditions who won't get coverage anymore. Worried about the poor insurance companies, not too surprising. French Hill's wife is a Little Rock lawyer who works as a lobbyist for insurance companies. Well, in other news today, 3 more people were indicted, former employees of the White River Juvenile Detention Center in Batesville, for assaulting inmates who weren't presenting any harm to other people. They pepper sprayed them and they didn't decontaminate them. They let them cook in their juices in their cells. Pretty brutal stuff. That's 5 now who've been indicted there for crimes against juveniles. 2 have pleaded guilty. They'll likely testify against the other people. We had another homicide in Little Rock last night, the 21st, a fatal stabbing in the Oak Forest neighborhood among known parties. No arrest at last resort. The Fort Smith Times-Record newspaper this morning had an interesting story. Doesn't prove anything, but there was an $80,000 cash transfer in 2014 to Jake Files, a senator from Fort Smith who's had a troubled construction company. Don't know what this was for. The document turned up in a lawsuit against the construction company. It was about the time that the Senate was talking about a constitutional amendment to limit civil damages in lawsuits. This is something the nursing homes have often wanted, so there's sort of a suggestion of a connection there. 2 of the biggest nursing home owners in Arkansas live in Fort Smith and Files District. Files this year sponsored the constitutional amendment that did make the ballot next year that would put a cap on damages and lawsuits against nursing homes. And so there is that friendship, perhaps only coincidental. Files won't talk about why this money was given to him, and the nursing home executive who sent the money has so far been silent as well. Cranford Johnson, CJRW, I'm speaking of an old form of the big ad firm in Little Rock, landed the State Parks and Tourism account yesterday. $15 million contract. CJRW has been on a roll. It now has the State Economic Development Commission and the Arkansas Lottery as well as a huge parks account. So happens one of their owners is the guy who ran the campaign advertising for Governor Asa Hutchinson, but these are all awarded on merit, not on political connections, they say. Have a little story on the Arkansas blog this morning about the Bentonville School District. Seems like there's always something cooking in Bentonville, which is growing explosively. Patron of the school district dug up the fact that the facilities director rented a Bobcat, that's a piece of construction equipment, a loader, on the district's money, and then used it out at his house for perhaps 3 months, worth maybe $7,500. This was discovered. Somebody blew the whistle. He was suspended for 6 days. A district patron isn't happy that a 6-day suspension is all you get for misusing $7,500 worth of the district's money, but that was the superintendent's decision. It didn't go to the school board. Bad publicity for the district. However, it comes at a time when they're looking at a tax increase. They probably need it because they have so many more students every year. Interesting note in the tech world today, Facebook is backing away from its big investment in the Oculus virtual reality development thing. It doesn't seem to be paying off for them as they thought it would. One critic says anybody who's tried to look for more than 10 minutes on one of these virtual reality devices understands why they're not perhaps as popular as people thought they would be. Interesting only that in January there was a great gift by Facebook of a lot of virtual reality gear to the state of Arkansas. This was going to be part of the encouragement of Governor Asa Hutchinson's big move on computer training. Well, Oculus may not be it, but computers are still a good deal, no doubt about that. Happy to report that a gator that was stolen from the Central Arkansas Nature Center in downtown Little Rock in a burglary Thursday night was recovered alive and is back in its place in the Nature Center. They're still looking for a replica, not a live, western rattlesnake that was also taken. They arrested 3 people in the break-in, so that's good news. It's good news that a weekend's upon us, although the White River's still rising. Amazing effort in Des Arc. where community people have gotten together to load tractor trailers to get everybody's houses empty. They may lose their houses, but they're going to at least keep their possessions. I understand they're getting the liquor and beer out of a liquor store too, so they'll have something to console themselves over their losses. We're resisting here. I hope you are too. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back next week.